her and I look alike, but it's not like in the physical, it's something else. And she always says, no, we don't look alike.
Sometimes you do look alike in the physical. Sometimes when I see pictures of you, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wow. So
I think it's the energy, right? You know what I mean? Like it's the energy. It's not just the physical. That's what I see with y'all. And I've seen it with a lot of other people. Okay, so we're live, yeah. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
so hi
Everything's
Todd.
good. Hello. Okay. So this is show number 14, I believe. Let me see.
I think
14.
it's 15.
Yes. Well, I changed it because I didn't do a 13 or something, so I moved it up. So I'm doing them spontaneously, so I have to go back and change it. But it says 14. We're good. So we have before us Rumi, who's the feminine, and her partner, Ivaylo. Ivaylo. Okay. And uh, and so I just want to welcome you first because this is a new space. We're only 14 episodes into it. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's come through that we're not really planning anything or having an agenda. We're coming into a space of kind of an unknown. And so that's the only way I can describe it. You don't need to talk about anything that's not comfortable to you, and you can ask me questions. We'll just have a conversation. But whenever I put these posts up a few days ago and told people I'm looking to have this type of conversation, I did everything on flow, like we're all learning, when things show up in synchronicity. And so your email did. And if you don't mind, I want to just read a little bit of it because it kind of tells you what's going on. Is that cool? Okay. All right.
Of course.
Yeah. So I got this letter, this email 8 days ago, right when I put these posts out. And dear Todd, this is the first time I've decided to reach out, even though I follow you and Morgan. And as you requested, an honest talk. My name is Rumi, and my twin's name is Ivalo. Um, we're from Sofia, Bulgaria, which borderlines with Greece. Um, I even followed Med Online at Ini before you guys, and so on. You were activated in 2018.
Mhm.
And as you know, the journey was extremely hardcore level. But since last year, we are in physical union, which makes more sense with every single day that passes. We started Stars Alchemy in 2020, our little company, and we have her website information here as well. She says the English version is not quite ready, but it's coming. I'd love to talk to you. And they sent me a picture, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got to do this. So the thing that there was a lot that you said in there. I think for me, and maybe because of the similarity in union, I guess you would say, uh, in these crazy times. Uh, for me, that was the biggest part because what you said, you weren't just saying about yourself, you were saying about you and your partner and your union. It was hardcore times. And a lot of people think that unions are, you know,
I don't know how
you know
they
what I
think
mean?
that. I mean, this is, I really don't know how they think that it's easy or manageable. It's super hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that was the thing that impressed me the most, the honesty, the transparency of it, and the intrigue of it, because these are the things I'm convinced that we haven't talked about. They're almost they're difficult to talk about because we're not used to talking about it. Um,
Mhm.
but and it seems like they can only be talked about when you try to talk about it. So, you know what I mean? You can't like say we need to talk about something. It's not like that. I think it comes from the space versus we come into the space talking. We come into the space and that's so it's an incredible uh general description of your story, and looking at the two of you, you can see that there is union energy, which is fascinating. Um, you wanted to come on And this show essentially doesn't have a title. Each one of them is its own show. So this is number 014, and it's you, and it's you, and it's the both of you. So whatever you can share with us, and I'll let you start.
I just want to say something really cute. In our little family, we call you Torgan, Morgan, and Todd together. And we call you, I'm like, last week I was like, you know what? There was a message from Torgan, and if I was like, oh, really? And I said, Todd wrote something which grabbed my attention. Like I read maybe once or twice a week each one of your posts, but this was like, oh my God, this grabs my attention. I would love to text you back. And I told Ivaylo,
Hmm.
and he said, oh, that's interesting. Like we've never talked about any of that with anyone really.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. We are talking about that, but from our Bulgarian
Our Bulgarian society, yes.
society,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
We've never talked about it with a bigger audience.
So
And
you
in
do you
Bulgaria,
you so you we have a very good friend from Bulgaria that actually married us in 2018. There's a ceremony on YouTube. I mean, the whole thing's there. It was like 7,000 people watched it. It was crazy. It was a crazy summer. But her name is Zaveta Da Vinci, and she was here in the States for a while. And there was a whole story there. Her son transitioned, and there was just all this energy at that time. I think that's around the time that you met, isn't it? The two of you?
yep,
Yeah. See, so it was a very
yep.
powerful time. Yeah. I was just thinking, and you know, I've had podcasts with many couples over the years, but this is a different environment, and I just realized one of the advantages is to actually be talking to a couple in regard to what's been happening and how things have been going. Because one of the things that really hit me today was we're all going through this. Like Morgan's just gone through about 2.5, 3 weeks of really serious health stuff. And she just put a post up talking about how more and more people this has been happening to. In fact, a friend of ours she talked to this morning, a young man in Europe. And so that's the real thing. And so I was upstairs on the roof and I was thinking, man, you know what? You're not going through it like that. But you know what? For the last 3 or 4 nights, your lucid dreams and the energy and dream state has been huge. So I guess what I'm saying is it's become more obvious that we're all going through it and there's no denying it. And it would be nice to hear how the two of you handle things. You know, are you always lovey-dovey? Do you have to take space from each other? How did and
You
how
So,
you had 3 weeks. Maybe as Morgan, you like literally died like 3 times over the last month.
wow.
Like health issues and like almost death experiences. It was crazy.
yes, I was a very tough
Mm.
month in January. Maybe 2 or 3 times I was almost dying. Like I'm sitting like normally, like
Mm.
nothing is happening, and after a couple of minutes, I'm just
Yeah, it was like wow,
something's very big is happened, like just like that, and take me away, take me very, very
far away.
far away, and I'm starting to как е бълнуване.
Lucid dreaming, like talking in the like he wasn't here and I was talking with him, but I felt that I had to stay with him. He was talking from a different realm,
Yeah.
and the first time I got really scared. The second time I knew what's happening and I was like, okay, you have to come back now. You have to come back. I know that you're somewhere else, but you have to come back now. And the third time I actually scared you. I said, I'm gonna call the ambulance. I'm gonna call doctors.
And I'm
And he
just
was like, I'm
I
coming, I'm coming.
yes, I don't have any power, like physical power, and I
Yeah.
said just no, you don't do that.
Yeah, don't go anyone. But it was, I think, a big initiation of your male energy because his grandfather passed away a few, well, on the 27th of December. And that was I don't know exactly, something very big happened. Something very core, deep happened with
So
him.
I have very strong connection with him.
Mhm.
He was like my second father, and when he passed away, uh, I have this first death experience, death alive experience. I don't
Yeah.
know how to say it. So I know one of these times I just helping to him to pass away, and I was remember that I was talking with some beings to uh, uh, throw him away, to just
To
like,
leave him alone.
yes.
Mhm.
And I go to negotiation with these beings or something like that, and it was very very hard for me. I take all my energy from so many realms. I feel it like this, and from this physical realm to do this job for him, but uh, I succeed, so thanks for that.
And if for a little bit about our relationship, I think that the last 3 months, something changed in the energy, and we stopped being able to hurt each other, and everyone was left in their own little space with their own core, deep, dark wounds without being able to hurt one another.
Hmm.
And we're actually, for the first time, very supportive because we know that we cannot reach the other one by hurting them with like before. Before that, it was really tough.
But the reason
And we're
was,
projecting a
I
lot.
think that
Well,
the reason was because my heart will open with this very with this thing with my grandpa. So
Yeah,
and then I have one experience with my father, because my father passed away 5 years ago, and I didn't cry.
7. Yeah.
I didn't cry, and now after my grandpa passed away, I opened one Pandora box with my father almost after that, and the next round will come for me like a very deep
Healing.
healing, with crying, like I was just crying for first time for my father like this. So it was very big for me, and my heart will after that will, oh my God, so we are here, and
Yeah. But
yeah, you've
yeah, I
said
think
so
that.
much already. Oh, there's a little bit of a lag, so give me a second. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
you've said so much. One of the things that comes to mind first off is this is the 14th show, and this is the third or fourth time. Well, it's the third time that somebody said they had lost somebody very close to them. The last one was the sister's mother. Since December, all right,
Mhm.
like the latter part of December. And then the other thing is the way you talked about your life and death, these experiences, including the physical part of it, a lot of that's been going on.
Mhm.
And then the other thing that you said was, and the way you said it, I didn't really understand it at first, but now I get it. An easier way for me to understand it would be like we were being put into our own space. Like we weren't allowed to project anything
Yeah.
outside of us because, like you were saying, we probably knew better because things are really bubbling. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, so I picked up that from listening to you both, and I really appreciate your openness because that's really pure code. This is very fresh. This has just happened to you. You have all this time before, all these years before together, and all the things that you've experienced. But something tells me the only thing that matters right now is what's happening right now in the last couple of 2, 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
yes.
Yeah.
So, have you had like I mean, every couple's different, every person's different, but in terms of being connected in your own way, right? Like some people channel and some people meditate and some people walk and, whatever it is. Are you feeling something different in that field? You mentioned that you were lucid dreaming more. Are you both, or one of you or both of you, feeling more psychically connected, you might say, more connected to the multidimensionality, more connected to the higher planes?
Especially since maybe 10 days ago. I think we changed so much, like we became totally new people with the same codes that we carried before, but right now we're much more aware what's going on without any anything to read or to find information outside of ourselves. I feel like this for me. I'm like super on my own and I know everything that is happening and I'm super okay with it. Like, I don't know. And what about you?
Mhm.
Mm.
You've always
And
been.
let me ask you this. Okay.
Since
Huh?
maybe since I don't know 10 years or more, maybe 15 years. I don't know. A very strange experience with energy and kinds like that. So I'm just when I close my eyes to go to bed, I know that I'm going to my second work every time. 2 minutes,
Yeah.
2 minutes, and I'm just
Yeah.
and starting to working on other planes. There are so many things every night, so different things, but I'm going to work like that since maybe 10, 15 years. But more conscious maybe last, I don't know, 3, 4,
Yeah.
something like this. So our
Three, four
connection
years,
with
three,
the
four
room,
years, 3 or 4 years, or
yes,
3 or 4 days.
3, 4 days, 3, 4 years. So it's the same
No,
now.
I can relate to you, not exactly the same, but I can go back, like say 12 years, 13, 14 years. And I can't say that it's every night, but there are periods where there'll be like 7, 10, 12 nights in a row. I mean, like, and I've never felt it. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show, how some people were going through it physically. This has been like 4 or 5 nights of intense, and I know I'm doing work and it's wearing me out. It really is.
So and
So
so
I had a
uh,
question. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
uh, so
Go
before a
ahead.
couple of years, it was like so I was doing my job until I'm dreaming or going in other dimensions, but almost every time I was beaten or I was something like
You were weaker.
I'm the weaker one
Yeah.
or something like that. And maybe the last year, more times when I'm working with these specific dimensions and maybe astral things, I don't know how to call it, but I have more energy. I have more power. They didn't beat me every time, and that was for me okay. Thank you very much. And before that, before a couple of years, when I'm going to the new day, when I wake up, I'm
Yeah.
and I said, "Oh my God, what is that here?"
What do you
And
mean? Like everything was fine?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. See,
He
so
for
didn't actually
me,
want to be on
yeah.
the physical plane.
Oh, well, that's different. If that's how you felt, yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Even in the last few days, even
Oh,
for a little, 2 minutes or 5 minutes in the last 24 hours. And I think I'm not like saying I'm tired of being human, blah, blah, blah. It's more like the energy. The energy is so intense
it's
that
squishing us.
uh, swishing. Yeah.
It's squishing us. It's really intense.
So you said, Rumi, you said that uh, for the last, whatever time period, you've really been into yourself. You've got, you're okay. You're in your field and you're not going out there. You know what I mean? Like
I'm not
you're,
projecting anymore.
yeah, you're just there.
Yeah.
My question was, while your partner was going through the things he was going through, how did that affect you? Was that kind of difficult to, you know what I mean? Like, how do you care for this person while you're feeling like that, but seeing what they're going through? I mean, it's really strange because you're a union, yet you're, you know, you're, at least in the physical sense, you're,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like you're in this state of balance, and he's in this very distraught state where he dies 3 times.
Uh, you know, what I've experienced with both of us, when like more of the things that are happening is with his energy, because he has more like a big fragments on different planes, let's say. And
Okay.
I know that when he has to collect them, or when he has to go through these extreme experiences, like bigger implants or getting those fragments, I call them sparks that we have to collect from our light. My whole body and my whole energy is like a healing center. I become a healing center, and I'm like a little magnet to him, and we experience it together. And I experience most of the things, even through my body. And then when the time comes that he's, for example, a little bit better for 2 hours or 2 days, then I get to see all the things that I experienced, like me, like Rumi, just Rumi. And if I have to purge something or alchemize something that I've experienced, I have this time. For example, he has work at this moment. I always say our connection is so divinely orchestrated, really, like it's like a dance. Every time he has to go through something, I'm there. And then I have this little space where I can alchemize whatever came up from my experience in the different realms, or as I call it, the 3D experience, or the disconnected experience. And then I can come back to be like this healing, loving, super supporting female energy. I think that the past maybe 1 year, yeah, I've become more and more this female, really loving energy that is just being there and making the space. I'm more able to make the space with just pure love and
Mm,
stability, I would
mm,
call it. Before that, I wouldn't be able to handle all of this love, like pure unconditional. Just be there, just whatever. Maybe the world will end tomorrow. Maybe this is crazy what we're going through. Okay, I'm still here.
yeah.
But because I feel that this is my space. This is my place to be
Yeah.
right now and forever in all dimensions. It's this is what I feel. This is
Yeah.
what we experience. I don't know if he feels it the same. I know that we don't even need to talk about it, actually. It's just what it is. It's just how we've been.
Yeah.
Even though we have very hard times, our relationship was like I always knew why. Like, I had the downloads. We didn't have to talk about it. In the 3D world, we looked like two absolutely crazy, traumatized, psychotic people. But we were like, high five, we can do this. We can do this every time we have to. So, yeah.
Wow. That was big energy right there. Yeah, it's I think there's something to be said for, I guess whatever happens let's just say in this moment, in the present, whatever it may be, could be a trigger, could be an activation, whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah.
what I'm hearing from you is whatever happens, it stays here and you just keep going. Because at some point in time, we got to let it all go. And that includes it, because that includes anything that we might call the past.
Mhm.
I remember seeing a video a long time ago when I first reawoke in 2011, and this guy did it, and he said, "Where is the past? Is the past here?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "But where is it? It's back there." You know, and sometimes the simple, funny things make so much sense. But I really feel like that what you've talked about is, and I'm not trying to spiritually bypass anything. I'm just saying that's kind of like an all or nothing proposition. You either do it or you don't. Do you love this man? Do you love this woman? Do I want to be here? Do I love this job? Do I love this home? Like you said, it's almost like you're saying, I want to be who I want. I want to feel about myself this way. I want to be with who I want, live where I want to live, as if the world's going to end at any time. And it doesn't mean you can't refine it and expand it, but you're not settling for things, right?
I don't think this journey is for settling. This journey is
No,
to just be present with what you feel and kill everything else.
we can kill everything else.
That tries to separate you from what you're feeling right now. Like, yeah.
That's how my journey started with people. I said my soul, but a lot of people say higher self. But when I first had that big wake up, like a lot of people have a big wake up, and I heard, kill them all, slay them all. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're demons. I'm like, oh my God. Then I saw like a highway with all these, they look like parking meters, like where you park your
Mhm.
car, and they were just like lined up forever. I thought, man, I must have a lot of demons. I, I often just come back to like, I just want my partner to be happy and healthy. I just want to be happy and healthy.
Mm.
Like you could be the healthiest person in the world and the world goes tomorrow. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's, and I was thinking this morning too, I was thinking sometimes you have to um, kind of like go into gratitude. It's not as simple as, being a human is not as simple as you wake up like after nights that you've had in the dream state and lucid dream. You don't just wake up and go, I am so grateful to be here. But if you take a
Yeah, let me
moment,
write down in my journal. I'm so grateful to be here. This is no, I don't think that it works
but
like
I
that.
but I think but I think you can get there when you really think about it and you go, well, at least I'm having thoughts. I'm alive. I'm there. You know what I mean? At least there's that going out. Because how do I know what it would be beyond this point? I don't know. But yeah, I think the laughing too. Do you guys laugh a lot together?
He
I would.
makes me laugh like every hour. Like, yeah,
Does he really?
yeah,
I make some like we have our humor, inner humor,
yeah.
and yeah,
We laugh a lot.
yeah, maybe not a lot, but
Oh, well, I do. And
good.
you're like
Good.
smirking,
Yeah,
like,
you do.
yeah, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Morgan with me. She laughs at me, but it's not at the things that I'm trying to make her laugh at. She just laughs because of the way I am. And I always tell her, I'm a funny guy. I'm very funny. Listen to my joke or listen to my story. But no, I think they're laughing at us for a different reason. But it's
It's
pure,
love.
right? It's innocent. Yeah, it's
It's
love. It's
pure.
pure.
Yeah, it's pure. I think
And it does.
sometimes I just laugh because it's just I'm so grateful that you're here and I can experience you being here and
Mm,
me feeling this love. And that's why I just laugh. I'm so
mm.
grateful. And yeah, this is, yeah.
So you have a very beautiful smile. So
Yeah.
So
that's it.
these energies can be so intense and so weird and so fast and so slow and so big and so, you know what I mean? Um, people have often asked me on on the old show, like in regard to being in a relationship and how these things happen. And I try to tell them it's the same thing. You feel it the same way as an individual, and you have the further dynamic of the couple. Like, should I say something or not say something, or what did she
Yeah.
do? Or why didn't he say this? Or, you know what I mean? And so my question to you, and I've never asked anybody this, and you don't have to answer it. How, like, the human's gone through so much, and it's always been about love. Yet now you have this crazy, wild, nobody understands love with this other person. Um, but at the very human point where we really make those changes, did did you struggle? Was there times when you felt separated? How did you come back together? Was it hard? Was it easy? Did it take a day, an hour, 2 weeks? How did you get to a point of not judging? Because it seems like that's where you're at.
Thank you for the question first, and you start.
I start. Um, so many times we wanted to kill each other. Like he wanted to kill me, and I was like this victim that is always like, why do you want to kill me? But like literally, we had so many times we had huge separation, like months in which we were dying. I was dying, and or the ego, I don't know, part of me was dying, like my human self was dying. We still have times and weeks that we are a little bit like looking at each other and knowing that right now maybe it's not full union, it's not love and roses, but we're here and we know what we have been through and how to handle it. But what we've been through, I would say maybe our like task in Bulgaria was to go through a lot of online because he's a very well-known astrologer in Bulgaria, and
Okay.
like many people know him. And our relationship was on the full front online, Facebook and stuff. And
All
it
right.
was so much judged. We got
Yeah.
separated so many times, and we couldn't hide. We couldn't hide the judgment. We couldn't hide the hatred that was going through against us. I don't know. We couldn't hide anything because it was happening. Like even jealousy, infidelities, it was all over the place. Like
Mhm.
I sometimes call our little soap opera. And right now it may seem that we're on a different, like in a different realm, which we are, but we both know, and many other people know exactly what we've been through. And maybe it was just to show people that it is possible to go through so much pain and so much ego death and so much, I don't know, expectations of
Bullshit.
what you have to be and bullshit. And it was heartbreaking, like
Yeah.
heartbreaking every time.
Yeah.
And every time seemed that we're forever separated. Remember?
Sit,
Yeah.
please. These 40 days of when you are
Ah,
crying
yeah.
hours, 40
40
days.
days for one of the times because he usually blocked me, like everywhere on Facebook, everywhere. We closed our little company, I think three or five, maybe 3 or 5 times. And I just, this was maybe the last time, which was like one of the biggest crises. It was 2022, I think. I just said, okay, so he blocked me. I blocked Stars Alchemy. What am I going to do now? Because he's the only person that I care about. This is the only thing that my heart wants. So I said, okay, 40 days, I'm not going to stand from my bed, and I'm going to do all the meditations and everything that can put me through all the hell that I'm trying to avoid. And after 40 days, we met. every time we clear a lot of density, we meet in a lighter realm. And I think something started, it was August 2022. Something absolutely different started in our relationship. And we understood that it's maybe really, really hard, but we have to try everything to see how to manage all the crisis quicker and have more trust in the process and in each other. It
So
was harder 2 years after that, like, but we were more trusting. Like, we have to do this. It's crazy, but okay. We shook hands and it was like, okay.
so I show to this being my worst parts of me, really worst and awful parts of me. And every time she take these parts of me and do this, I don't know, female alchemy or love alchemy, or I don't know how to say it. But after that, she comes back and she said, "Okay, I'm here again." And I said, "Oh my God, that this is not possible." Okay, you are here. So let's do this again and start again to talk, to understand each other. So maybe I'm packed and unpacked my bags, maybe I don't know, 10 or 15 times. I don't know. So I'm here. Oh, I hate you.
Yeah,
I'm
he was
going.
leaving so many.
I'm leaving you. I don't care.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, so after that, I know where my things is. So she give me my packs and she said, "Okay, see you after."
Yeah, at some point I was like, okay, leave, because I knew that what he's doing, you know what he was doing? At some point I was like, if he doesn't leave now, we won't be able to clear the density. We will not be able to be here separated and face inside of our hearts. Why is this happening again? So I started actually admiring the fact that he was acting so uh like in the moment. At first I thought he's absolutely crazy. Maybe this is the craziest person on the universe. And then I was like, there is something bigger than that, because he's acting as if everything is happening right now, which means we have to accept the reality. Rumyana, learn to accept it right now so that you can alchemize it. And at some point,
At some point, I said, "Okay, this girl don't want to listen to me. She knows very well the things.
yeah,
Okay, I'm going. I'm leaving you. So you're free
yeah,
now." And one day I said, "Oh my God, she has listened to me. What I say to her. It's the first time." And I said, "Wow, we are living. We are alive now."
we're alive now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, "This is magical. This is magic." And we start to build our connection on that, because for me it was very, very important, she to have the ability to listen to me, what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say to her.
He said women don't listen to men, and you're the first woman that learned to listen, because I didn't listen in the beginning. But he said you learned to listen to me and just say, okay. Because at some point, the journey is really crazy. You have to be very adaptive. At some point, I was like, so if I just say okay right now, I would be able to alchemize and purge all the pain that I'm feeling. But if I do that, the energy will be clear and we can step on another level. And he was like, oh my God, she's listening. So his ego started dying faster. Like the male ego, like, I'm alone, I can do this by myself. I'm so powerful and I don't need love. Love hurts and all that stuff. So it was crazy. Yeah.
Sometimes I miss these times.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, but now we know oh how it's happening, so
Uh,
it's not gonna be that interesting anymore.
oh my God. Um,
But it's really right now it's very challenging also. It's not like it's challenging,
uh,
but on a very different level, where the light is still not pure white. Maybe there are grayish parts, but you cannot see them. It's, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Ah, thank you for making me laugh and thank you for making me cry. That was probably the most entertaining 10 minutes of my whole podcasting career. That was awesome. That was really cool. Really was.
Type it.
Uh, God, I think I better say something fast before I start bawling again. Because it is what it is. You know, it's like the couples are, I was saying earlier, you know, how people say, oh, it'd be much better if I could go through this with somebody else and have what you and Morgan have, you know? And absolutely, I wouldn't have it any other way. But it's just like the individual journey. It's full of the same thing. And yet you also have this space that you share with another. And I don't know. Do you, this might be a weird question, but like now, today, after all of this stuff, the stuff that you still miss sometimes, I don't know why you would miss it. but but what's the difference now? I know you're multidimensional and I know you're connected, but the human being part of us seems to be where the real gold is, you know, within ourselves. When we can look at ourselves, no matter what we look like and what we've done, and say, I love you. You know what I mean? But also to do it with another. What's the difference now, or how does your human aspect feel, both of you? Is it, was it the one that was acting out, obviously? How does it act now? Does it still come up? Is that when you laugh at each other? No?
I say,
Um, how is it now? So, um, now is for me is more calm for sure. It's very more calm and energy, but I feel that we are working now on this. I don't know the word. Как е фин на английски? Aspect. Fin
um,
aspect.
the very see-through aspects, like the very soft, soft maybe, I don't know, aspects, like
The hidden
the hidden aspects,
hidden
yeah.
aspects, because before that, these years of action, physical action
Yeah.
and fighting and wow wow wow, and this
The density, the density
yes,
was very
I
rough.
think it was more, very much more physically
Challenging them.
yes, challenging, and now it's there are very hidden aspects of our interaction, which we're working on it with, not with with this furious energy, not
Mhm.
that physical energy. It's very um maybe conscious, with more conscious, yes.
Hmm.
And because of what I my last 6 months of was I maybe I have maybe 6 deaths
Yeah.
for 6 months. Really crazy for me. I'm new person every month. I'm dying one time a month. So these deaths ground me very much. So when you see death so close to you, and you are so grounded, this is my experience. So the things going very simple at this moment. So it's not so complicated. It's not spiritual. It's not so complicated. So you have this time, you have this person, you have this experience. So what you want to do with this? And
What I would say is that what I admire in him is that he really respects the human in us. He respects the human since I've known you. Uh, he's like, okay, I love you, but we're not up. We're not up We're not like pure light. We're here in human bodies, and humans react, human experience this. You cannot ignore it. And both of us, our humans, are acting out where they're like he's um like sometimes he's like, oh, I don't like that, I don't like that. And I'm like, what are you saying now? We have to be grateful. He's like, bullshit. So we have this little pact that during the day we can purge all the humanity, everything that we don't like. But when we come in the bed in the night, it's just us, and it's pure love. And during the day we can be mad at each other, we can do stuff that we don't like or trigger one another, but it's like the humans can come out during the day. But when we're at home, it's like, okay, so
They're like,
this is safe. It's a safe place.
you're making
So
me laugh and
yeah,
cry again. Uh,
yeah,
you're making me laugh and cry again. They're like the opposite of vampires. When the
yeah,
sun comes out,
exactly. Yeah.
they come out.
Yeah,
And when you
I
go to
think that
bed, your
we
light
actually
bodies
are
go
like,
to bed.
I think we're like rotting zombies at some point, because I feel some parts of me are dying this month, like because I feel the energy of each month like an algorithm. And it's like, okay, so guys, now we have to work through that shit this month. And it's like escalating. The first part of the month is like test period, and then after the 20th is like, so now you die. And the human aspects of
Uh,
us, we're like everybody else, like
yeah,
really. But we have like 2 minutes a day where we feel that golden energy that is coming through right now, and the love which saves us every day. Thank God for it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
most part of our days are. But you are very respectful for the human experience. I love that, because you're reminding me that we have to have respect, and this is why we're here.
yeah. And what's so funny about that is he has, and I can relate to that. He has so much respect for it, but at the same time, he screams about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, that's yeah. I mean, God, that was a lot you said there too. Um, it's funny. Um, but yeah, okay. So when I listen to you, and I've heard a lot, and we've all heard a lot about masculine, feminine. Even listening to you about what he's gone through, and you felt like it was a masculine thing these last 6 months where he's died 6 times. But and I don't know that we really know the qualities. I'm sure we contain the qualities of the divine feminine, divine masculine, and then we're in form, which makes it. I mean, that's not, you know, that's important. But you said, Rumi, you said that you got to a place where you said okay, or you listened and then said okay, and that was your way of not going into the old stuff, I guess, and you just um I don't know what you would say, but I mean, it's a feminine energy. So you open that space, I guess. And then you're talking about all these deaths, but and all these separations, and your bags were already packed and all that. And but that you would come back because you needed that place. You needed that place to rest and to recuperate and to be loved and love so you could go do it again. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I got from what the both of you said. And to me, it feels right. Like, is that okay? It's okay for a man to lay in a woman's arms. It's okay for, but recognizing what she does to open the space, and also recognizing that he's got to go out there into the unknown, into the uncharted territories, and make an ass of himself sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
always go right. It doesn't always go right, but he will go back out there every day if he can be nurtured in that space that he comes from, basically. Yeah, it made me it was like, having a session. I saw it all in my head. It's
What
nice.
I
Thank you.
believe for the female energy on our planet is that we don't know what we don't know, but we think we know. And we are sometimes very arrogant because we're the intuition, and we're the oracles and the priestesses. But what I have learned in this experience is that is true. But what this experience is teaching us is that we can only expand if we believe that we don't know what we don't know really. And if a woman is able to say, okay, and trust her higher self and God, that maybe this man is doing something which she's not still capable of understanding, some of his actions, some of his choices, some of his brutalities, even. Maybe if she can find this space within her to just be like, okay, I'm willing to see how this goes and turns out. Maybe not now, but maybe someday. This is how she actually kills her ego. Because women kill their ego too. It's not just men.
Yeah.
Yes, and the man just want respect. Okay. So I don't want to tell me what's going on. I don't want you to know. You know, but I don't care about what you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So just respect me, and we talking about.
If
Yeah.
man is electricity, I trust that actually the male does know more than the female at some point. And if she trusts, then he can then trust her again. Like it's a trust issue between both of
Yeah,
them.
it's no, it is. No, it
Yeah.
is. There's so many. It's so hard to talk about it. We're 14 shows into this, and this is the best conversation we've had, which is the way it should be. But yeah, so I've been saying this a lot to myself lately: is be careful what you ask for. But it's been in retrospect. Like, what did I ask for a month ago and 2 weeks ago, and 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 I still want to ask. I'm okay with everything I ask. It's just like, oh my God, I didn't know it was going to be like that. But the feminine is the origin, I mean, and so it only makes sense in the human experience that egg, um, unshroud itself and open up. And by the same token, that the masculine or the sperm or whatever, yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on as he's trying to get there that she knows nothing about because she's from here. He's from down there. It's like
Yeah.
brutal. It's like street, it's in the streets. This isn't, all the, yeah. But to actually get to a place, and it feels like we are. And thank you for sharing the code today, so far. I know there'll be more. Um, where we can do this in the human condition. It's not like the human is a stepchild. It just sometimes we all been around children, and some of us have raised children. And sometimes, and probably all the time, the best thing you can do with the child, including ourselves, is to let them be free, let them roam. But the sun does go down and they got to go to bed. And that's what you were telling me earlier, that I got metaphorically and energetically. Yeah, let the human be. It's almost like it's not enough to just accept it and embrace it and get to know it and all your wounded children through the years and all that. It's actually to allow it to be in the moment without judgment, without, condemnation, but just let it be for a little bit. And it's so cool the way y'all explained it, how you recognize the human in both of you. So it's almost like it's it's another entity, or your little child or his little child out there. Oh, that's just, but 6 o'clock
Yeah.
after dinner, you're going to bed, and we're going to go into the Sacred Union Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
This
nice.
journey is possible in bodies,
Yeah.
in human form. That's it.
One very short thing I remember now. So we have a fight. We have a fight. We have arguing fights, and I go out, and she write to me, please, whatever you do, come back in our bed tonight. Don't sleep anywhere. Come,
Else, yeah,
don't sleep anywhere else. Just do your best.
to come back.
Do your
Yeah.
best to come back tonight. And I am just
Yeah.
We are having an energetic conversation. I can really relate to that. Morgan got really sick like he did, like you did, for a couple, 2, 3 weeks, and she had to have the bed to herself. Like she had to have it, the whole thing. I mean, it was very intense. And I slept out in the lounge, just, a room away. And so this has gone like 3 weeks or whatever. And there's been a couple of nights I've been there, and but that's one thing that I said to her yesterday. I said, I don't care what happens, and I know you were ill. In other words, if that were to happen again, I would sleep on the floor next to her. You know what I mean? Like there's something about laying down together. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I get what you're saying, and the effect. And I think that goes back to where she's saying, no matter what's happened, this space is there. And she's actually told me this. We've been here about 3 or 4 months at this place, and it was one night, and I went to the couch, and she said, whatever happens, you come here, right? So there's that same thing. The space is created, and he knows he can go in there, he can recharge, and then go back to creating. Because let's face it, it's the masculine part of us that's creating. I think we can all acknowledge that. And what you said, Rumi, earlier about if the origin doesn't trust, there can be no trust. And I'm not trying to put that on our feminine, but I'm saying that creates the reciprocation from him, because now he knows no matter what he does, that proverbial her is behind him in his efforts to create. And maybe it's not always perfect. And you come back and you recharge and you go back again.
And this is life, actually. It's not always
Yeah,
perfect,
isn't
but
it?
it is what it is.
So let me ask you
Um,
that. Let me ask you this.
yeah.
I was trying to formulate this question, and then Morgan actually helped me. I was actually trying to figure out a way to say this, because to me, it's not that simple. Do they work through the issue together, or do they find working alone more beneficial? And so the way I was kind of coming to that question, obviously we're telepathic, was it doesn't even matter what the issue is, or who might have or have not an issue, and whether it involved the other or not. Do you find that to her question, do you find that bringing it all out into the open and discussing it works, or is it better to find your own space, gather your own thoughts, pull your energy in, and then come back out of the cave when you're ready?
I think we have different moments about that. So sometimes we need space. There was a time when we have much more space to be separate.
Yeah.
But now I think the things are just like, okay, we have this issue, we have this situation. what shall we do now with this situation? Let's talk about it. Nobody, I think at the moment, nobody needs space alone
For
to,
more than 2 hours.
oh, yes, for
Yeah.
more than 2 hours, maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The alchemization process is faster now. Like the light bodies is alchemizing the ache and the pain faster, what I've experienced. And the other thing is, to answer the question, we needed a lot of space. Like he was like, okay, so I'm gonna shut down the phone, or I'm gonna shut down the chat, or I don't want to see you right now. I need my time. I need me. And I was like, no, what am I going to do now? This means I have to shut down also and see in within me. So it was tough for me to learn to stay and be with myself when he needed to be with himself. And maybe because we had so much practice of separating each other, like for days and weeks, and maybe that's why we right now we can discuss there is an issue, okay. And if somebody gets hurt, or if he sees that I'm triggered, then I'm not talking for like, because I'm like, I'm the those people that just stop talking, like ghosting, or I don't know how you say it in English. I think ghosting or gaslighting, I don't know. But I'm like, okay, and I shut down. He knows that I'm going through something, but I feel his energy is like, let go faster. It's gonna ruin our energy field. Go within yourself and let go faster. And I know that I have a few hours. And I drop everything and I'm like, okay, Rumi, what is going on with you? And I'm fighting my own demons. I have so many practices where I go inside and I'm like, okay, so who is next? Like, come on, I want to hear you out. But we needed a lot of space before that. Maybe that's why union came March last year, like physical. We actually started to being able to be longer with each other. And I remember you were still in Texas, I think, and Morgan is in Australia. And I was like, if we are coming in union right now, they have to be together in a few months. And I remember thinking, this is impossible. How are they going to get together? This is impossible. But I knew that, and I told him, if we're in union, I'm sure that they will be also this year. Like I felt the energy of physicality, like 100%. So yeah.
Wow. And I don't know about you, I'm much older, but even the physical intimacy is a whole different world. You know what I mean? Like all the programs that you've talked about that were an influence or a part of the evolution as we unshed, you know, like you talked about the time of parts and your own demons and the things he's gone through. It also plays out in the intimacy too. You know what I mean? Like it's not like where we came from. And it's like everything else in this transition or this, what we call a ascension. Um, we don't really know. How does it work? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
you didn't say, oh, we need to act this way, and that's how we're going to get to this point we are. No, you had to go through things. You had to spend, you know, have the pause, have the silence, and it came together organically and naturally. Um, we've always had incredible intimacy that wasn't typical of the old world, you might say. But you said something earlier, just a minute ago. It's not about even whether, because intimacy is everything, right? I mean, it's having coffee in the morning together, it's taking a walk, and it's not the amount of time, it's the concentration of the experience. So that's when you said to me that we let the humans run out and play like daytime vampires, and then they go to bed and we come to their room and we lay down and it's just us. Like even if that's 10 minutes and he starts snoring, that's enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
how better way to ground than that. You know what I mean? To go into to dream state in that unification.
It
Because
means universes to us, like really universes. This is I know that not many people can relate to it because words are one thing and experiencing it with our whole heart and body and energy field is another. But the little sacred things that we share, you cannot compare them to any human experience yet. Like any.
yeah, I felt every bit of that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's crazy. It really is. And that's like the 0 point, ground zero, which, you know, reflects out into other parts of our experience now where that same potential is there. You know what I mean? It can be a song, or you meet some people synchronistically, or you know what I mean? It's like nothing we know.
Exactly.
Hmm. Hmm.
And since we can share that right now, it means that more and more people will be with us and are with us anytime soon.
Yeah.
Even if the
Yeah.
world doesn't seem like it right now, I every day I'm like, I'm encouraging him. We're doing great. If we're here, that means that more people will be with us
Yeah.
every day. Like I'm like
Yeah.
the cheerleader. We can do it. We can do it.
While you're getting your ass kicked. It's like, God, I mean, I don't know. I personally started back on this a few days ago, and um, everything was going okay. And Morgan's getting better, and the sun's coming out, and uh, the beach is, walk to the beach. Today I couldn't even walk to the beach. I had to go. I'm on the fourth floor, and the fifth floor is the roof. So I went to the roof because I didn't have the energy. I went to the store and came back, and I didn't have the energy to go anywhere else. And it became this whole, oh, I got to go do a show. Oh, I got to be normal. And all that came in. And I thought, oh my God. And I had to
Shifting.
really, I sat down in a chair, and I just, said the same thing I said earlier to myself. I said, so what if the world ended right now? Who are you with? What are you doing? You know what I mean? Etc. And then the human part of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going away. And that's why I love what y'all said earlier about, the way that you acknowledge the human with reverence in each other, and not enable them or make excuses for them, but just recognize them for that part of us that has gone through everything that we all have, which is the conditioning and the programming and the traumas and all that. We're past this, you know?
I think that there are still fragments that come to be seen and huge.
Absolutely.
For me, today, for
Mm.
example, I had this maybe there was like a 2 hour breakdown. He was swimming with his child, and I had this breakdown and a lot of old reptilian codes that I had to cope with. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know how we're gonna manage till the evening. Like my energy field is um so painful. But what I see is that we can shift realities right now and then go back to the healing process and the the everyday life that we actually do live, because we live with other people. It's not just us two being in ascension mode and that's it. We live with more people and family, and it's it's everything.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
Same thing.
I told you that I've had like, I don't even know, because I can't remember. Like a lot of people say, I can't remember. Was it 2 days, 3 days, 5 days?
Yeah.
But I would say probably for 4 or 5 days. I've had these super intense lucid dream experiences that began when I went into my sleep mode, and I started to say to my soul, I want to connect dream state to my conscious state. I think that had something to do with it. Or maybe I was just in flow with what's happening. And so I I had 2 mornings. One was about 10 days ago, and then one was 2 or 3 days ago. And I woke up and I was really out of sorts, and I didn't know it. And so I became very human, like worrying about human things, which isn't typically something I do. And I projected on Morgan. And so she handled it, and it didn't last. Like you were saying earlier, these things are easier and quicker to go through and all that. But I started to think about projection. And I've always felt that projection is projection. It doesn't matter who starts it. But for the first time, I realized something. And to me, it means a lot, because I know there's a release. Something's unblocked. And it was, even when you don't know it, it's not the projection. It's the response that you want to get so you can reproject. See what I mean? So it's like, no matter what I say, whatever comes from the other side, I'm going to take issue with, and gives me the right to project. So it's like the chicken and the egg. It doesn't matter who's,
Yeah.
but I understood it in a way where I was like, oh my God, I just got this. And I know that sounds crazy, but listening to you, I feel less crazy, that these weird things that are happening at the human level that are really challenging in many different ways, especially if you're going through it with somebody, especially when there's a serious nature of a medical issue, or like what was happening with you. It really is like with you, it gives me a lot of respect for the human. And I have to go back to what you said earlier about recognizing the human in each one of you. It's not taking anything away from your stature and your multidimensionality and your connectivity, but we all have it. You know what I mean? Like the human is something that none of us can get away from. And I think that's part of what's happening too in the things that we will listen to or read or hear, is they can't have any of that pretentiousness anymore. Like, oh, I got it figured out, right? I have it figured out. I'm good. See, I did a spirit walk video 2 days ago or yesterday, and I said, I trust that I know nothing. I know nothing, and I trust that. Because if I start trusting that I know, that's when I get in trouble. And it's a weird place to be. It's vulnerable, it's transparent. And then when you involve the other and they're doing the same thing, there's a lot of stuff coming into our sensitivities of vision and feeling that we've never seen before, or at least we haven't seen it in the human body while we're conscious and awake. I don't know where that came from.
It just came.
It just came. So tell us
I just want
about,
to say one
go
thing.
ahead. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
The biggest thing for me this maybe half year, one of the biggest thing was just like the thing with the crying, the thing with the crying. So there was a couple of times just I'm just sitting like this, nothing expected, nothing more, nothing sad, nothing special. And I said like this, and after a minute, phew,
Cheers.
tears, and I can't stop that. Okay, I don't have the control. I can't stop that. And after that, I said, "Oh my God, the women are. uh, Did they know how blessed they are for this? That they can crying." And I feel this very big release of my body. Okay, so ah, this is great thing. So I admire myself and I admire every woman for this. So this gives me back to
See,
the to this that I'm human. Yes, I'm yeah, and I'm
no, I was
just
just
human.
going to
Yeah,
say,
I'm
and
crying. I'm just
all this time, men thought they knew what an orgasm was. The
They
what
what?
tears,
what?
It didn't.
the tears that we let go is a, like a chakra orgasm. It's like it's better than and I was making a
Yeah,
joke that we always thought we knew what an orgasm was, which was a physical thing versus this emotional release. I've heard,
mm. So before that, mhm.
yes, yes, there's a lag. I'm sorry.
Before that, before that, I was training myself. I was training my muscles. I was in aggression
Mode, yeah.
mode. I kill everybody. I don't want to live. I kill everybody. Something like this. But when I start to be able to crying just like that, I said, "Oh my God, I don't need everything. That's it. I can't be angry anymore like this before. So where where is this anger? I don't have it. Now I have tears, and it's amazing. Yeah.
I think you can relate to this, and I think most of us, most of the men can for sure. Being like as a kid, and there's a fight after school, and it's going to be me and you, and everybody gets into the playground, and I just saw the metaphor, like the two of us go face to face, and my you motherfucker, and then all of a sudden one of them starts crying. But
Yeah.
that's actually
Yeah.
the
I
energy of
don't,
what's
I
occurring.
didn't mean to hurt you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, no, it's like that male that we never saw that. And if you did, it wasn't a good thing. But you could imagine that's what's being inputted into the new grid. That release, that soulgasm or that chakragasm of the masculine releasing purely innocence, because there is no it's not necessary. It's over, you know. If he's crying, then that means all the weapons are gone.
Yeah. 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 That's what I'm feeling very, very much strong. And oh, this is very I don't know, next level, maybe new dimension of my experience. Just to and it was very human. So one of my cryings was with the words, why death exists. It's not fair. It's not
Mm.
fair, and I'm crying for that I'm losing my uh, yeah.
Yeah, he was actually crying and he was like, death is unfair. This is not real. Why does it need to happen? And yeah, it was awesome. But what
Um,
I see that masculinity after this crygasm or soulgasm or whatever it is, you become much more stronger than ever before in any war, with any weapons, with any mind, um, like rational mind thoughts or wisdom words. Men become much more stronger now when they have this emotional space within them conquered. But it's a new level. I don't think that this ever happened until now on this planet, because I think so many God codes or source codes we try to download, that I don't think that ever men were able to feel so strong as right now. I mean, this means that the expansion will continue, but as up till now, I don't think that this ever happened in this form of reality, like in the human body, with all this experience, all the separation, all the killings, all the stuff that happened here. I think this is new level of existence, like everywhere.
Yeah, it's emotional. There's an emotional correlation. There's an emotional releasing. Because really, if you look at human love, if you look at the connection the two you have, or Morgan and I, what is that keeps you going all through everything that happens and so on? It's very much rooted in our emotions. It's also unrooted and unruly in our emotions. But as we have begun to bring that to a one voice, within the human, forget the multidimensionality, just within the human, to be able to laugh and cry at the same time, and that's a real powerful thing. I did some men's groups. I did 4 weeks of men's groups in January, and at the beginning of January, I put a couple of posts out, and I said, "This is kind of what I'm thinking. We'll just give it a shot. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to try to go where we've not talked before or whatever." And one of the comments on the post was from this sister who's probably like late 20s, early 30s. You can tell like a lot of those very connected to the feminine, to the mother goddess, and really pulling in pure code. And she said something like, I've been waiting for this. In other words, I've known it was coming. He doesn't even realize what it is, and the feminine doesn't either. And I feel like that's really kind of what's happening. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm not there, but I feel like it's this weird place of pure vulnerability and nakedness and transparency. It's almost like you're put on the spot. Everybody's watching you, and you have to create something while everybody's watching you. You can't even go to the bathroom without people watching you. You know what I mean? So it's like this element of courage and bravery um, that he has, but he only has it with what you said. That you're able to go back to Rumi, to that space, to that womb, and everything is seen for what it really is. It's all in its proper place. There is no misgivings. There is no traumas. There is no second guessing. There is yourself, because she supports it. You know what I mean? She understands that you're doing the best you can, or something like that. I don't know, but I think the two of you really talked about that earlier today. And I think that's how it works, because the human being is not going anywhere.
Human being is here.
So before we get out of here, I want to make sure that here, let me do this. Hang on. I'm gonna share. Hang on. Okay, hang on. Let's go here. Boom. And
Ah, something happened. Ah, yeah.
can you see what's coming up on the screen? Can you see the
Yeah.
website? Okay.
Oh, this is a post that Ivaylo wrote about. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So this is Stars Alchemy. This is their little creation, as they call it. It's starsalchemy.com/en. And it's right here. I'll put it in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. We've got a section here on sound vibration. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
Fear release, shame release, take back your power, cleansing fire, light codes, alchemical furniture, paintings, crystals, events. Yeah, very cool.
Mm.
Yeah, so let's pay our friends a visit and check them out. And
Thank you.
if you guys could hang on for just 1 second, I'm going to sign off on the live stream. Let me just turn that off.
Okay.